So, how to create a strong password? You know that if a hacker gets access to your information, they get access to pretty much everything nowadays, to your personal information, to your credit card, to purchasing stuff on your behalf, to your bank account, maybe. So, what you want to do is to make sure that you have a method so that you put together a really strong password. Welcome back to Katya's Buzz. This is where you're going to find a ton of video tutorials to help you. Make sure you subscribe, you like this video, and you come back for more. So, what is a good password? A good password is hard to crack and it's easy to remember. You have to use a long password. You need a minimum of 8 characters. You have to use a password that uses letters, numbers, symbols, uppercase, lowercase. You want to mix up the symbols with the numbers, with the characters. You want it all to be jumbled together. You want to make sure you do not use any personal information when you're doing your password. So you don't want to use your name, first and last name. You don't want to use your date of birth. You don't want to use your kids' names. You don't want to use the date you were born. You don't want to use the city you were born. You don't want to use anything that anyone can connect you to. You don't want to use simple words like I love you. You don't want to use the numbers 333, 123. You do not want to use simple words that you can find in the dictionary. Cat, dog, book, common words cannot be used in passwords. There are 3 password levels in my world. I have level 1, which I consider easy access, emails, social media, small accounts that are not connected to any credit cards, are not connected to anything. Level 2 password is going to be an average security. Sites may have credit card information. You may do some shopping on those sites. And so I take it a little bit more seriously. And then level 3 is heavy duty security. My bank accounts, my Apple ID, and all the accounts that I know can create some serious damage if somebody were to get in. And I take this one very seriously, and I have maybe 4, 5, 6 accounts using that password max, and that's going to be the most complex password I will put together. To create your password, you need to create your own formula. You want to use a password that uses something that you care about. I like to carve things into my memory that I think are worth remembering. So depending on what you like, it can be a sentence, it can be an author, it can be dates, questions, reminders, quotes, history, science, emoticons, whatever rocks your boat, you should use that for your password. On level 1, I just came up with a silly question answer that I'm going to turn into a really strong password. Do I need to think to access you? No. In order for that to become a password, I'm using every letter in that sentence. 2, instead of the word 2, I use the number 2. So you see that I started with a capital D, I used the 2 numbers, and capital N. For the level 2, I have come up with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi that I like a lot. And the quote says, "The future depends on what you do today," which is beautiful. It's something I like to remember. Every time I'm going to use it, it's going to remind me, empower me. This is, for me, a wonderful way to put it in my mind and to use it all the time and to have it kind of become a piece of me in some strange way. So the future depends on what you do today. Is going to be each one a letter. Then it's going to be an exclamation point, capital M for Mahatma, capital G for Gandhi. I'm going to use the asterisk and a capital Q because it's a quote. I would use this particular style every time I use a quote. Whatever you come up with, just come up with your own formula. Don't share it with anybody and always use the same thing. So it doesn't matter if you change the quote, you'll always have kind of the same thing. If it's a 2, you use the number 2. If it's a 4, you use the number 4, and you're done. And it becomes a habit and it becomes really easy to change. Now, the level 3 is really heavy duty. I don't want anybody to access my bank accounts. I guarantee you that. And so I want something that's a little bit of a humph. I went online and just jotted down some information on World War I. Let's start with WWI 14-18 and ampersand, the symbol ampersand, 20 M in capital for million, exclamation point. Never, ever put your password on your iPhone, on your smartphone, on an email, on a text, on a piece of paper, on anything that you know anyone can access. A teaser is going to be a way for me to know that when I see whatever it is I'm writing, I know immediately that this has everything to do with the password in reference. In this particular example with World War I, I would do the T's WW1DD question mark. So that's dates and death. So that's my teaser. So now that I have this crazy teaser that is totally somewhat unrelated to my actual password, I can either do an Excel spreadsheet with Facebook and then WW12DD question mark. And then I can go to YouTube and do whatever teaser I find out. I can also put it on an email. I can put it in my phone as a contact. You also want to customize your password. Let's say you have a super awesome password and you use it for every account that you can think of. If it gets hacked, you're doomed because the hacker now has access to all of your accounts and can access everything, and from one it snowballs into another and you can be in hell. So I'll show you a way you can customize your accounts. Once you have a serious password, every time you go open a new account, you're going to use something of that account, and it has to be your own method. But let's say if you're using YouTube, for example, you may start with Y and then do your password and finish with E. You can always do capital Y and capital E, or capital Y and lowercase e, or you can use the second and third letter of YouTube. So that would be O and U. And you can do the same thing. Put the O in front of your password and put the U at the end of your password. And you can decide to always do capital O, lowercase u. That makes it that much more difficult for anyone to access these accounts. There are a lot of people out there that are trying to get to your information, and it can cost you a lot of trouble. So be safe. I hope you're enjoying this video. Welcome again to Katya's Buzz. I love doing this stuff. I'm hoping that I'm helping someone out there because I learned it from someone. I've used it for a while and it's really been working out fine. Make sure you tell me the comments below if you find a method, without telling me your password now, what you liked about what I've just told you, and if you're using anything, and be very curious to know what you have to say about it. And I also would be interested to know if you've been hacked. And if you know why you were hacked. Was it because it was an easy password? Was it because you shared it with someone? Unfortunately, there are people out there that are really trying to harm, and so we have to protect ourselves. I hope you got that lesson. I hope you're going to be careful, and I hope you're never, ever going to be hacked. You enjoy yourself. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Make sure you come back to this channel.